Hi, and welcome to the Selected Tech podcast, brought to you by a group of 4 MVPs doing webinars, sessions, and interviews on all things SharePoint, Office 365, and the Microsoft AI ecosystem. Their motto is learn, share, reuse. And here they are, Albert Jan, Rick, Stephan, and Tommy.
Okay, there we go. Hi, good evening all. Tonight we're going to talk about Visual Studio Code extensions for the bot framework. Stephan did actually build a code extension and he's going to walk us through what you can actually do with it. It will make your life very much more pleasant having the option to do it that easily rather than having to come up with everything yourself. And as you can see, Thomas is not having his webcam turned on. Apparently there are some technical difficulties to make sure that, he wasn't able to fix them on short notice. I'm pretty sure that next time it will all be looking good. Stephan, walk us through what you did.
Yeah, share your screen.
Sure. So before we start, actually, I want to give you guys a quick heads up why I did this. Because way of generating stuff using the bot framework more efficiently, and especially like if you do POCs where you actually integrate web chats for different websites and so on, was kind of clunky to write the whole HTML code each and every time or copy and paste it somewhere each and every time. So I was looking for an alternative to that, and therefore I actually thought about why not doing it as Visual Studio Code snippet. So I looked into it. What do you actually need to do to generate such a snippet to make your life more easier by just generating some comment inside of Visual Studio Code, and this comment will actually do the whole work for you. So this was like my starting point, where I just wanted to automate stuff within my POC pipeline to do the stuff more efficiently. So if I now go ahead and, for example, create a new HTML file within my Visual Studio Code, and I now need to actually generate a web chat component for an HTML page inside of my HTML file. In the past, I either had to do it on my own, so I had to write the whole HTML code on my own, or I needed to go to the bot framework web chat GitHub and copy and paste the code from there into my HTML file in VSCode, but this was kind of too exhausting for me. So I created what's called Visual Studio Code snippet. So if I now inside my HTML file just write BF, which is the abbreviation for bot framework, I get two options here. I get BF minus WC minus create minus something, which generates the HTML code for adding a web chat snippet in there. So if I just click enter now, I get the whole HTML snippet in there, already pre-filled with some HTML code for integrating the latest web chat JavaScript in there, already integrating some theming and customization in form of CSS and styling in there, and then I generate the HTML body with a div and of course the script to run and render the web chat component in there. So that's the cool thing about it.
If I go to the
Yeah.
To Azure, I can add an iframe, and this is what's running inside the iframe, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
so I did that in one of our POCs.
Yeah.
Like this is the complete web page you can use as an iframe to integrate somewhere else. Because then by using this method, you can do more advanced styling than if you just use the default iframe you get from the Azure portal.
Yeah,
because there you can just add some basic styling in there, but you can't do like bot avatar initials or bot avatar images or bubble backgrounds and so on and so forth. So therefore you can use more advanced customizations. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, true. So this is the one thing which is very basic from a customization point of view. If I just delete it and if I go ahead now and enter BF again and go to the style set option snippet, I get much more of styling in there. So I get uh, even more lines of code because here I don't just render the web chat. First of all, I get a new direct line secret exchanged by the direct line token, and therefore I can do stuff like do proactive messaging and greeting the user upon opening up the web chat component. So the user doesn't actually need to type in something into the web chat before the bot can greet the user. This will happen before that. And I have some other style set options in here as well, like background colors for the bot text and for the user text, and the height and so on and so forth. And users can actually then enhance that as well by using their own style set options as well. So this is a bit of a more sophisticated scenario, um, which actually takes you 5 seconds to create. And in the past, I had to do it via copy and paste, which is a pain in the ass if you want to.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, especially because this sample is never is not actually something you can use from the GitHub pages because this doesn't exist somewhere. You needed to take that piece of code from somewhere and then go to another GitHub page and take that piece of code from somewhere and so on and so forth. And this was like kind of annoying to me.
Hmm.
So this is the first thing which makes my life and hopefully your life easier. HTML snippets for the bot framework web chat. The second thing I did because I was playing around with the bot framework CLI recently, and the bot framework CLI offers you great capability of actually managing not only bot framework pieces but also LUIS pieces from the CLI. So you can actually go ahead and from the CLI create your whole LUIS application till the point you publish it. You don't need to touch the portal at some time, and therefore I thought it was cool to actually start within Visual Studio Code and generate LUIS files for you. And this also can be done by using the snippet created. So if you type in bfc minus lu minus create, you'll get what's now called a .lu file for language understanding. And this actually gives you the most basic intents like help. So you get the help intent with sample utterances, you get a greeting intent in there with samples, and you get a cancel one. And now you could go ahead from the CLI and say, I guess it's called bf LUIS create, and then you give it the .lu file, and then it will actually kick off the whole creation process of your LUIS app within your LUIS subscription. So it's kind of cool to not do the hard markdown thingy on your own because this is kind of a weird notation with those kind of brackets in there and exclamation mark hashtag at app name. This can be easily wrapped around and forgotten or made a mistake, and therefore just hit bfc minus lu dot create and then go from there, and you have your whole .lu files in a matter of seconds. So that's the thing. If you want to install it, you just go to bit.ly slash VFC VSCode, which will bring you to the Visual Studio Code marketplace where you can actually download it with some basic descriptions in here, what you can do with it. If you want to enhance it, feel free to do a PR on the GitHub repo. Um, so you can actually go ahead, clone the repo, fork the repo, clone it, do a PR, and enhance the functionality. It's quite easy if you understand how it works because it's just two things actually in there, which will make your snippet to run. First of all, you have the package.json, and it's a simple package.json file with some custom things in here. Like you define the whole snippets within that contribute section, where you say which kind of languages or language extensions do you have to add which are not, let's say, default ones. So .lu is not a default language extension. Therefore, I need to edit that via my extension to make Visual Studio Code aware of that kind of extension. And afterwards, I define my snippets. For each language, I can define my own snippet path. So in my case, I have one snippet.json for HTML files and another snippet.json for LU files, which is kind of cool. And the snippet.json is actually just a JSON file which has a name, which has a prefix, and which has a body. And the body is actually the thing which gets pasted into your HTML file or .lu file upon entering the comment. So that's kind of basic in there. You just need to come up with some kind of body, give it a name, a description, the prefix, and you're basically done doing it. So you can do whatever you want to with those kind of things. And it's really not that of a hard task to do.
And then when you
Um,
publish it, is there like a check or something, or do you have to pass I don't know what, or can you just publish it? How do you publish it to then the store? Oh yeah, the store. I'm calling it a
uh,
store, but
yeah, what you need to do is give me a second. There is some kind of, how do they call it? Management interface, not the correct word. Um, there is a CLI where you can publish it, and I've gone with the not with the CLI, but where is that goddamn link? I've done it via the user interface.
So there's a UI for
I
that.
can find it.
okay, there's just a UI where you can
Yeah, there's a
upload then
UI for that.
the files. I'm guessing. Or do you have to
Yeah,
package them somehow? No, just
yeah.
upload the files and
No, it's yeah. You use you use the CLI to package it, and if you look at my VSCode, you'll get generate a .vsix file,
Okay.
and
ooh,
this is the file you actually upload.
So
And this will
that's
then be checked. So they check it. You gotta enter your information as well, the link to the GitHub, and so on and so forth. And if they checked it successfully, it will be published immediately.
oh cool.
So it took me, I don't know, 2 hours for the whole thing to build and publish and register and
Oh
stuff.
nice. Okay,
but
cool.
but is there a way in can you use the snippets only on your machine, like locally? Or do you always need to go through the marketplace, or can
Now
you have
what you can
your
do is
Yeah, if you
what
give
you
us
can do
the
is
file, then we can just install it, or what?
now you can go to your VS Code marketplace and then say BFC or BF, and then you can install it.
yeah,
There it is.
but during development, I meant that I can create something like for your own team, for your own
Yeah,
company, without going to the marketplace.
yeah, sure. You don't need to do it. There is a
A folder or something,
um,
probably.
there's a folder on your Windows machine, and this is called VS Code. There's a separate extension folder, and you just need to copy the package.json and the snippet.json into your folder, and that's
Okay.
basically it. So you don't need
And
to
then
do
it reads it.
the
Yeah,
whole
then
publishing
it
thing.
reads the JSONs when it's
Yeah, this would.
started up. So.
I'm just thinking of
There it is.
creating a snippet for our homepage to have the create selected tech blog post snippet,
Oh yeah, it's a good idea.
because now I'm always
Yeah,
creating copy and paste, because those things, because we have now a sample blog post somewhere. I think Rick, you created that we always copy and paste. Basically, if we take the information from that file and create a snippet for it.
Oh yeah, that would be easier. Then we just
yeah,
click on
yeah.
it, and then
Basically,
it's
what you
somewhere
do
safe, better.
with Hugo and so on, they do all the same. If you create
Yeah,
a new Hugo post, it's basically the same thing. They have their markdown pasted into the snippet JSON, and you generate the code for it.
yeah.
And
Nothing more
when
than
you
that.
started
But
out
you
the
sure,
scaffolding, how did you do that? Just start with a few files and then it's okay, or was there like a generator, like the human generator or something? No, just create a
No,
few files.
yeah, you
Okay.
can. Yeah, of course, you use the generate the code generator for
Okay.
that and create a new extension or code snippet. Sorry, there's
Ah,
even an
can do
option
that.
for new code snippet.
Okay, that
So
setups the project
you use that.
basically. Yeah,
Yeah,
human
so you
generator.
don't
Okay.
need to do the whole
Ah,
package JSON thingy on your own because you get the
Yeah, a lot of
whole
files. Yeah, I
project
saw it, a lot
structure.
of
Yeah.
files. So
and is the snippet actually somehow connected to a file type? So is it only working in HTML files, or could you use it also in a C# or TXT file, or is there some binding?
No, I for now decided to just let those kind of snippets be used in HTML or .lu
Okay,
files. So
okay.
with that, you restrict the usage. But I'm already thinking
Yeah,
about using that for generating C# code. Like I need a
yeah.
new bot framework controller.
Yeah.
Boom, let's do it just by using an extension. Or I need a new, I don't know, dialog. Let's do it with an extension. And I even
You
thought
can
about
actually,
doing like if you if you run your bot or if you develop your bot in VS Code and then I want to do like a menu entry start bot start ng-rock
yeah.
because that's the
no,
same
yeah,
thing then.
Mm,
and that's an extension then. Yeah,
yeah.
because that runs
That's an
code. So
extension
that's
then, yeah.
okay.
But you can bundle everything in one place. You can have like snippets and extensions and everything in one like marketplace extension.
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
So you get the whole thing.
nice. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Api, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that you can actually create a global snippet. So you can choose to either make
Yeah,
it language specific or make it global.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But it made no sense to make it global because this is like really, especially
Eh,
the LU thingy is really
yeah,
specific to LUIS, so it makes no sense to have that globally. Because
true.
otherwise, if you would create a new file and then you would go ahead each and every time and just say BF,
Yeah,
it will actually bring up the whole list of possible extensions and snippets for you, and this doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
So
I know you used to have. You have like my get and NuGet. Is there something like that in Visual Studio Code? Just let's say I built something for I don't know
Uh,
my team only. There's something I have no idea if something like that exists. Just thought of it. Probably is
who?
something because let's
NuGet
say now
is
the for
NuGet is existing in VS Code, but I don't know about Mica.
yeah because I let's say for us four, yeah, you built some extensions for us, or yeah, nobody has nothing to do with that. It's a little bit stupid to put it in the store, but is it like a company store? I have no idea. Just thought of it. Yeah, it's a good idea. Make some money.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, like there's something for Azure DevOps or like your own artifact,
Yeah, that
your own
you can.
libraries.
Yeah,
I have some
this is
companies who
this
do
is
that. They have their own company, their own
Uh,
libraries, and they do stuff in
this
there.
is actually what Microsoft also recommends to use Azure DevOps as a release pipeline for snippets. So
Yeah.
you don't need to do the whole updating process manually because I would now, if I have a new version of that, I would need to upload the updated VSIX file to the marketplace and update the whole thing. And with DevOps, you can do that automatically. So you just check it in,
Yeah.
the release pipeline kicks in, and it will update the whole marketplace thingy as well. So maybe there is something for GitHub as well. I don't know, because then you could basically just integrate GitHub in your VS Code, and this will update and trigger the whole updating process.
Yeah.
yeah, there is I think Waldeck created it, or at least I think Waldeck did it. It's named something like a Rancor extension for deploying SharePoint framework solutions to a tenant. And you
Yeah,
just right click it and deploy, and then I think he's using the Office 365 CLI in the background, or at least
Yeah.
the same graph calls, because you have a device login and then deploy your solution to the whatever tenant you select basically in your authentication flow.
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense for all the ng-rock settings you mentioned, or all the
yeah, this is
local
actually
bot
what I want to do.
environment. Yeah.
because I have to Google the comment each and every time if I want to do like ngrok, because I don't remember that all the time and I want to just click the button.
I started creating or putting the thing in a README file so that I can copy and paste
Yeah.
it every time.
You should use a ngrok configuration file.
Yeah,
Just
I
ngrok start. That's all
yeah.
I do.
I saw a guy messing around with this Python tabs and space thingy
Yeah.
and get mixed up. I don't know who it was, but
I'm used to it now. I'm used to it now.
So you can do it for me as well.
It's easy. Okay, I have two of them now. One fake one and one real one because I have that many, that many ngrok entries that you can only have that many, and I don't need all of them at the same time. So it's still a little bit of copy paste. So, but
Yeah.
when I start, I do have a subscription, of course, but I think I start like 10 tunnels at once. I only need one, but I always start 10. Where's my file? Oh yeah, I have a backup file and a normal file. Okay, cool. Extensions. We should do a little bit more with that. And maybe a good idea for our side as well.
Yeah.
And of course,
definitely.
if somebody listening wants to help out Stephan, if I have some time, I will.
Yeah,
do
sure.
it.
Sure.
So,
I think, Appy, you need to wrap it up again.
I think I just lost my audio because I hear you guys talking, but I can't hear Rick. Not sure what's going on there, but something is starting to fail.
But no, basically, we're good to go and finished for today. So.
Well, that was pretty awesome. I actually already see something that I can improve in GitHub. So one thing there is one thing missing. You actually miss tab stops. So if you insert a snippet, you can insert tab stops as well. So if someone uses your snippet, you can just press tab and it will automatically go to the correct location within your snippet. So you can do tab stops for your tokens or your IDs, so that you can just tap through things and paste in your IDs.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
I will do a PR
Sounds
for
great.
that for you.
Nice.
Cool. Well, that was that for tonight, and let's see if we can figure out some cool stuff for next time.
Okay.
For sure.
Cool.
See you around.
See ya.
Bye.
Guys.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to check out the show notes at selectedtech.show to get all the mentioned references. And one more thing, please tweet about the podcast and give them a 5-star review. This really helps the guys a lot. Thank you and see you next time. Bye.